Hey guys, today it is Wednesday, February 5th, 2020. Now for this video today, what I will be doing is I will be discussing the Ottawa Senators because according to the rumor mill, they are supposedly looking at not only new uniforms finally for the 2020-21 season, but the rumor has also had it that the Senators have also been looking at a logo change as well. So before I go on any further in the video today, what I do want to do is I want to start by taking a quick jump back to the 2017-18 season. So when Reebok switched over to Adidas and when the NHL started having their jerseys manufactured by Adidas, Ottawa actually ended up making a tweak to their uniforms. Now, I remember at the time I was hoping for the Senators to switch to the O full time. But unfortunately, they kept the uniform design that they've had since the 07-08 season the same. And what they did do was obviously, because the uniform style was designed for the Reebok Edge template, obviously the uniform was tweaked a little bit to accommodate the new Adidas Adizero uniform template. But also, not only that, but of course the collar design was changed. And the biggest change of all was to the number font, as the number font was switched over to a standard block font like their Heritage third jersey had before. Of course, it was retired with the switch over to Adidas in the 2017-18 season. Now, in that same season, to commemorate the National Hockey League's 100th anniversary, there was a special 100th anniversary outdoor game called the NHL 100 Classic that featured the Montreal Canadiens playing the Ottawa Senators. Now, Ottawa wore a special red jersey, which was basically a red version of the two heritage uniforms the Senators have worn since 2011, where instead of it being a black O on the front, it was a silver O, and it was a red jersey with the same type of chest and arm striping except with black and white stripes and white instead of beige. And there was also a thin silver stripe between the black and white, and on the arms inside the silver striping, it had all the years that the original Ottawa Senators won the Stanley Cup. Now, this red NHL 100 Classic uniform that has been their alternate uniform ever since, the thing is that uniform was designed as a special faux back uniform to pay homage to the Silver 7 era of the original Ottawa Senators. And in that season, at center ice, the Ottawa Senators not only had the O logo on center ice, but it was also at one point, as far as I can remember, their main logo on their website as well. But then, when the 2018-19 season started, so now we're moving on to last season, the Ottawa Senators had already reverted back to their main primary logo as their center ice logo again. But then last season, what they ended up doing was they ended up bringing back that outdoor uniform as their third jersey. And personally, I thought that was a great move. Ever since it's become their third jersey, that uniform I liked immediately, but I absolutely feel it's one of the most underappreciated alternate uniforms in the National Hockey League as of the 2019-2020 season. Now, they wore that as their third jersey last season. But for this season, this is where things really get interesting. Ottawa, according to the Adidas NHL jersey catalog that was revealed a year ago, Ottawa was supposed to be getting a new third jersey for this season. However, once the season got going, the Ottawa Senators actually decided to wear their NHL 100 Classic uniform as their alternate uniform for at least one more season, and that is this current season. So This season is very likely the final season that it remains as their third jersey, but instead of a new third jersey design that was speculated and suggested in the Adidas NHL jersey catalog that is sent out to retailers every year before the new season starts, well before, so they can start preparing to get the inventory orders ready in time for when the teams, of course, ultimately unveil their new designs, whether it's home, away, outdoor, or alternate uniforms, or even throwbacks. Ottawa was listed as getting a new alternate uniform for this season. However, they elected to bring back the 100 Classic uniform instead. And personally, I am absolutely ecstatic that they brought that back instead. But this now leads into what I will be discussing in this video, and I know it's taken 6 minutes to get into it, but it is very significant, and I want to make sure that I cover as much as possible because I feel it's important. Now, with the Ottawa Senators, there has now in the past, ever since the time that they switched over to Adidas, like the rest of the NHL, alongside the Golden Knights when they joined the NHL in the 2017-18 season, with the switch over to Adidas, and Ottawa was already initially speculated as a team finally changing away from their Reebok Edge uniforms. Now, in my opinion, with the switch over to Adidas, they took a pair of uniforms that were never great at anyway, and in my opinion at least, they actually made them worse. And I gotta be honest, I actually feel that the unique number and letter font was actually one part of their uniforms that I actually thought was actually pretty good. And I actually really did like that old font that they got rid of with the transition to the Adi Zero uniform system, or the Adi Zero uniform system as Adidas calls it. But with the switch to Adi Zero, I feel that that transition actually made their home and away uniforms even worse. But since Ottawa did not get a new third jersey this season, this, in my opinion, really legitimizes the chance that Ottawa is actually going to go all in and redesign their home and away uniforms for next season. So, according to the rumor mill, the talk has been that Ottawa is aiming to have new uniforms as early as the 2020-21 season. Now, according to, I believe, their former chief marketing officer, Amy DeZiel, and I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly, she supposedly said that the timeline was to have the new uniforms unveiled and to have the Senators start wearing them in time for the start of the 2020-21 season. So the 2021 season. So what I will be discussing in this video overall is I will be discussing my thoughts on the rumor that the Ottawa Senators will have new uniforms and potentially a new logo for the 2020-21 season. So this now means that I can get into the real fun part of the video, at least in my opinion. So you see these 6 logos here. Now, according to what I've heard, the Ottawa Senators actually supposedly sent these 6 logos out to fans as part of a survey to gauge interest from, I believe, season ticket holders, and correct me if I'm wrong, to ask which of these 6 logos would be their preferred choice as the new primary logo. So either any of these 5 logos here, or to remain with the status quo with their current longtime primary logo that you see here. So I believe, and actually, you know what? I'm going to go and make sure that I am correct on this. So supposedly, according to the results of the survey, the logo that won as the top choice overall was their current logo, but not by much, supposedly. But remember, just because it won this fan vote or this fan survey from the Ottawa Senators does not necessarily mean that it's the preferred logo by fans, because you got to then ask yourselves, how many people actually participated in this vote? And what was the demographic of the people that participated? I mean, were most of the people fans of this logo? Were they only a small part of the Senators' fan base? I'm sure they were. So there's a lot of different variables in play. But I definitely agree with aesthetics in the sense that there was, according to the results, there was definitely not a large enough margin that this logo won by if the survey results actually did state that this one won, which I believe they did, if I'm not mistaken. But I do agree with what Aesthetics did say when he mentioned this in his blog post, that the margins, if they are very small in favor of this logo, a small majority, that it's probably too small for a change not to happen. And I guarantee that Ottawa is going to be doing at least new uniforms. And I could definitely see Ottawa getting a new logo as well. Whether it'll be a switch to the O full-time or a return to the original Roman Centurion or even something totally new, that's still up in the air completely as of February 5th, 2020. So these were the 6 logos that were in the fan survey. Now, there is one logo in particular that I'm a little bit annoyed about because in my opinion, it was far too good to not be part of the survey and to not be suggested as a potential primary logo option in the future. So for the purpose of this video, I'm actually not only going to include the 6 logos that were a part of this fan survey, I'm also going to include this logo here on the bottom left-hand corner, which, believe it or not, is actually a prototype logo that the Ottawa Senators did include or did consider using at one point in their franchise history. In fact, I'm actually going to tell you guys one thing that I know for a fact. Now, remember, actually, hang on. You know what? I'm going to just go and quickly pull up a photo here because I want to make sure that I show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. And I just want to make sure that I get this. I want to make sure that I show you guys a good photo of what I'm talking about here. So just bear with me for about not even 30 more seconds. So remember this alternate uniform right here. This awful one with that hideous design and that stupid Sens word mark. That was thankfully short-lived and thankfully quickly replaced by that O jersey that they had for the majority of their years in the Reebok era. So you see how the shoulder patch was just their regular primary crest. Well, the Senators at one point before they unveiled this uniform were considering a prototype that had the player's number underneath the word mark and also had that prototype logo that I just showed you on the shoulders of this jersey. So that uniform, I know for sure, it is one uniform that I know for sure in Sens history that actually had this logo as an official patch. Not as the main crest, but as the shoulder patch on a prototype jersey. So this logo has been considered. So anyways, my point is that I do want to include this logo for the duration of this video because in my personal opinion, I do agree with those who say that it is far too good for them not to at least use on a future jersey, whether it's a third jersey or even a primary jersey. I mean, would I want the Senators to continue with the Roman Centurion theme? I mean, if the uniforms turn out to be really good, then I'm open to it. But I'm going to be honest, folks, I would prefer if they went to the O full-time in some capacity. Because in my opinion, I have yet to see a single jersey with the O logo on the front that I don't absolutely love. So back to this logo here. I feel that it is an extremely big disappointment that this logo was not part of the fan survey because I love how it's the Roman Centurion and it's kind of an evolution of the Roman Centurion, but I also love how it subtly forms an O for Ottawa. And I do feel that if Ottawa will continue on with the Roman Centurion identity that this franchise has had since it joined the NHL back in 1992, that they should actually switch to this as their main crest. This one right here, of course. I feel that it's a really good hybrid between the original logo, the modernized tweaks that this logo had to the logo that was on that weird, awful red jersey they wore through the 2000s, even during their one franchise or one appearance in the Stanley Cup final against the Anaheim Ducks. I feel that it is a really good mix of the original Roman Centurion, the modernized tweaks that this logo had brought to the logo on their red jersey before the Reebok Edge era began, and the O. I feel it is a really, really well put together mix of these three logos up here. And I think that this would be a really good primary logo if Ottawa does elect to continue on with the Roman Centurion identity they've had since they joined the NHL. But, I mean, from what I gather, I have a feeling that it's going to be a battle between these three logos up here, and most likely between these two. I mean, I think it would be great if they did consider that logo, but I would not be surprised if it's out of the picture entirely. But anyway, let's talk about these 6 logos here that were on the fan survey. So first off, let's look at this one that has the Ottawa Senators English name, and then underneath the S it says Sénateurs d'Ottawa, the French name of the franchise, or the franchise's name in French. So this is a shoulder patch. I think it's actually not a bad logo. As a shoulder patch, I love how it subtly has the initials OS for Ottawa Senators. I think that as a simple shoulder patch, it would actually look not too bad. But then you look at this one here, Ottawa Senators with just the S. I don't know about you viewers out there and the 2 stars. It looks like something that somebody quickly put together as like a little high school project, or something they made on some simple paint.net or Microsoft Paint or whatever program. To me, this is just a total half-assed logo that was quickly put together for the purpose of this survey. Yeah, it's a round L to form an O and an S inside, but honestly, this logo is not even good enough, in my opinion, to appear on the pant shells of the Senators' uniforms, let alone a shoulder patch. This logo, I don't even know why, A, it was on the survey, and B, why this was on the survey, but not that. I'm sorry, folks, but that, if you're a Senators fan, in my opinion, that should piss you off. That they put something as lame and as half-assed as that in the fan survey, and not this prototype logo, which I agree with people is far too good to not be considered. It is definitely a good logo. This is just a piece of crap. It's not even worthy of gracing the back of a helmet, in my opinion. Seriously, I don't even think a high school team should look at a logo like this. No, really. It's just so bad. I mean, if some high school or some kids hockey team wanted to use something like this, then, I mean, is it, for high school and, kids hockey, whatever, but for a professional National Hockey League franchise to use such a lame logo or to even consider it, I'm sorry, but this is really, really lame on Ottawa's part. I'm sorry, but I really feel a need to rant on that. What a horrible suggestion. Why even have it in there and omit one, arguably the best Roman Centurion logo ever created? I actually think this is way better than their current logo. I've always liked the original, but that one there, I've had a newfound appreciation for it. I like how it brings the O and the current logo and the original Roman Centurion all together. But now I want to talk about one more logo, and it's the Indigenous Artwork O. Don't get me wrong, I do think it would be a really original idea, but for me, the Ottawa Senators doing that as their logo just seems weird. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think it'd be a cool, unique identity for an alternate logo or an idea, but I just don't think as a primary logo it would look very good. I mean, I love the creativity there, but as their primary logo, I would rather see them keep it simple and go with that. Because I think if they're going to go to the O, they should keep it oh so simple. Sorry for the pun, but I don't know. The Aboriginal artwork, I love the idea. I think it would be a cool idea for either a shoulder patch on a future third jersey or as an alternate logo on a third jersey, a third jersey logo. But as the primary logo, I'm not a lover of the idea. The look of it is cool, but as the main crest on a jersey, I just don't think it would look very good. But overall, I believe it's down to these three as what the Senators, or as to the direction that Ottawa goes in. So I felt it was important to discuss this, and I also felt it was incredibly important to at least acknowledge this prototype logo. How this here gets left out of the fan survey for this half-assed logo is royally just beyond my comprehension. I just don't understand it. The Aboriginal O is a cool idea. This logo on the bottom right-hand corner, I think it's a great idea for a shoulder patch. But still, I can't rant about that enough. Now, anyways, let's start talking about what the uniform options could be. I mean, I still think this is the best Roman Centurion jersey in Senators history. I mean, I really like the balance of white and red, and the gold color here is very pretty. And I still think that the Golden Knights going with a jersey using that metallic-y gold would be absolutely amazing. And I hope that they pull that off. Sorry to go on a random note, but I just thought I'd mention it. But also notice the shoulder patch, how it's got the subtle O for Ottawa and the S for Senators. And inside the gold laurel pattern inside the roundel there, it says established in 1992. And 1992 is in Roman numerals. I wanted to mention that. And actually, you know what? To hell with it. I'm going to pull out my own Senators jersey and talk about it briefly. I'm going to keep it rather short and sweet, folks, but anyway, I thought for maybe a minute or two, I think it's worth acknowledging real quick. But you see the shoulder patch, I think that's quite clever. But overall, look at that primary logo and look at that sparkly metallic gold material used. I mean, if they have to continue with the Roman Centurion theme, they should at least go back to this logo. In my opinion, it's still the best logo, primary logo, that the Ottawa Senators have ever used in their franchise history. But anyways, I wanted to talk about this jersey. I still think it's the best colored Roman Centurion jersey in Senators history. Now, you look at the O jersey that they had as their longtime third in the Reebok era. To me, this is an excellent uniform. I agree with people that the O is such an oh-so-simple logo. Sorry, I can't resist the pun. I know it's oh-so cheesy. Sorry, I'll stop. But I know the O is a simple logo, but the chest striping, the waist striping, everything's consistent. I think it's a wonderful homage to Ottawa's hockey history. And to me, the red and beige on the black look absolutely amazing. It always did. I've always enjoyed this uniform. I'd love to see Ottawa go to this full time. Now, this was their Reebok Edge era away uniform. Notice the collar. I miss those Reebok collars. The design suited the Reebok Edge template far more than it ever will suit the Addy Zero template that the NHL uses now. But notice the fonts on the captaincy patch and the numbers. And I'll go back to that beauty in a minute. But notice the fonts. The number font and the name, I believe the lettering font was altered with the Adidas transition, but I must say I do miss the number and letter font on their home and away uniforms. And I also miss how the Reebok Edge template worked so much better with this design. I'm not saying this design's any good, because I agree with everybody. It's time for it to go. It's not good. But it sure as hell looked a hell of a lot better during the Reebok years, and I miss those V-neck collars. My goodness. Adidas, bring those back. Come on. Now, let's go over here to the Heritage Classic sweater that was worn for the Heritage Classic game against the Vancouver Canucks in the 2013-14 season in Vancouver. I don't know about you viewers out there, but I absolutely love this uniform. And I would love to see this alongside this as their full-time uniforms. And I know not everyone agrees with me. Now, I know that Ottawa's farm team, the Belleville Senators, currently uses the same style uniforms as these, except with a B on the front and in white instead of beige. And I think even that could work. And you know what? I'm going to pull that up. I know this video is a bit long in length, but I want to make sure I cover everything because I feel it's important. And I want to show you guys a photo of the Belleville Senators white uniform. So here's a quick look at it here. And even in white, I think this would be a great choice for the Ottawa Senators myself. It's still a very nice uniform, and I think some people actually find that they like it in white better than beige. Personally, I prefer the beige because I feel it adds to that heritage look. But there's Belleville's home uniform as well. Now, obviously, the collars are not the same anymore because of the new CCM Quicklight template that was brought in, I believe, last season. But still, those barber pulled styled uniforms are quite nice. But back to Ottawa, even this in white, in my opinion, would look really nice. But I gotta be honest, I feel that if Ottawa went to this in beige full-time as an away uniform, I think that would be so cool to see one NHL team without a white jersey. And in the rare case that they're playing a team that wears athletic gold at home, such as Nashville or even Pittsburgh, if they want to wear their third jersey, I don't see why it would be such a big logistical problem if the Senators wore black on the road against, say, Nashville wearing their home uniform. I mean, I think a lot of fans would love to see black versus yellow as a color versus color game once a season. Or Nashville could either B, wear an alternate uniform, or just wear their white uniform at home for a game. I think fans would not be against that at all. And I believe they could very well make it work. And I will stand by my case that I even suggested in my last video, coincidentally, that I think there are some uniforms that could be worn against other colored uniforms in the NHL. And I do feel that one of those uniforms could easily be the the Predators in their Nashville gold home uniforms against, say, the Ottawa Senators in black, because obviously cream versus yellow is an ugly, ugly matchup in the making. I mean, white versus yellow works. The color contrast is certainly there, but I would rather see more yellow versus another color like black, personally. And I think a lot of fans would love to see black versus yellow, or even the Predators wear their away jersey at home for one game every year. Or I hear Nashville's supposed to get a new third jersey by the 2020-21 season at the latest, aka next season. So, I mean, Nashville could always wear their third jersey against Ottawa in their beige O jersey you see here. I would be all for it. But anyways, this is the jersey I was referencing earlier. This was a part of their franchise history for far too long. I'm sorry, but this uniform was a disaster. I know there are people out there, I'm sure, that like it, but the fonts and that logo are just bloody awful. And hats off to Ottawa for modernizing and tweaking this logo, because the one they've had since 2007 is far prettier than this one. So I want to now go to their current third jersey. And I got to be honest, once again, I said it earlier in this video and I'm saying it again. I think this is the most underappreciated third jersey in the NHL right now. This uniform is beautiful. I love the silver O. The thin silver striping between the black and white striping on both the socks and the arms and around the chest of the jersey look terrific. Actually, is there even silver on the socks? I believe there is, but correct me if I'm wrong. This uniform here, it just looks so damn good. Even with that stupid Adidas collar, which is not their fault. I mean, this uniform, I just love this uniform. I can't say it enough, folks. This is really a great alternate sweater, in my opinion. And if this was the home jersey with a matching away uniform, I guarantee that this would be 100 times better than what they're wearing right now. And you see what I mean? You look at these uniforms here, and obviously I know it's a matter of personal taste, of course. But for me, I see this uniform, their Heritage Classic uniform, and their current third jersey, the NHL 100 Classic uniform. I mean, to me, these are the three nicest jerseys the Senators have had as a franchise. That's my opinion. I don't expect everyone to agree with me, and I respect your opinion if you don't. But to me, those are the best uniforms, and there's not a single one of them that I even remotely dislike. I love them all equally. And if these were the three uniforms that Ottawa wore full-time, holy crap. If this was the third jersey, I mean, they would have one of the nicest sets of uniforms in the NHL, in my opinion. And I love how these O uniforms are an homage to Ottawa's hockey history. I think that's really cool, too. So I want to also quickly acknowledge the current uniforms. Notice the block fonts. I think the font of the player names on the back has been changed a bit, but if that's not correct, please correct me. I could be wrong. I think I am wrong, but I could be right. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was changed. But the block font and the Adidas template just doesn't look as good. It looks fine on the home jersey, and I'll get to that jersey in a moment, but on their away uniform, and hang on, I better go pull it up, and I want to pull it up real quick here. But anyways, looking at Ottawa's current away style, I mean, you look at that big, ugly red collar. Obviously, it looks better on the ice than it does being worn just by a player on an average player appearance. But there's the uniform in the Adidas era. And the block font, yes, the letter font for the player names on the back has been changed a bit. But overall, I mean, Ottawa's current uniforms, they've gotten a little bit worse, in my opinion, with the Adidas transition. But I think that with the Senators sticking with their 100 Classic uniform, this beauty right here as their third jersey this season, I think that's the ultimate telltale sign that Ottawa's going to wait until next season and just go ahead and change the home and away uniforms, which I think most of us will agree is a change that's been long, long overdue. Now, this is Ottawa's original away uniform, white jersey, because at a time it was their home jersey till the NHL switched in the 03-04 season, I believe. And is this uniform terrible? In my opinion, it's not, but I will be honest, it wasn't my favorite. There was a bit too much black on the arms, in my opinion, and compared to the beige O jersey, or even a white version of that, I still think that would be better than this. But on a final note, once again, I do think and I do hope that this logo does get considered at least as a logo on a future third jersey. But I wanted to spend about a good half an hour talking about this because this is a significant conversation, in my opinion. This has been a long time coming, in my personal opinion, and I really do hope this rumor of a uniform change for the Ottawa Senators does come true by the start of next season, because their uniforms are not good, with the exception of that amazing NHL 100 Classic uniform. Obviously, it's beauty in the eyes of the beholder, and I know not everyone's going to agree with me there. I understand, but for myself, here's how I feel overall to wrap up this video. If they do stick with the Roman Centurion theme, I'm really hoping that they consider just adopting this logo. I think it's far too good to not at least be used on one jersey in this franchise's history. And my ultimate hope is that they do switch to the oh-so-simple logo you see here. Yes, the O. I know, my puns in this video have been oh-so corny, but and cheesy. But I still, as I said earlier, the O uniforms, there's not a single one that I don't think is absolutely gorgeous. I do think they will probably stick with the Roman Centurion theme, and I could see them go back to this logo full-time, or even stick with the current, but I do think that a change is most likely in store, and I really do hope that's the case. But anyways, folks, after 34 and a half minutes, I'm going to call it a wrap on this video. I would love to hear what other people think about this topic. And I don't know about you, but I'm really excited about the idea of Ottawa finally fixing their damn home and away uniforms, or at least getting some new ones. Hopefully they will be better than the current ones they have now. But anyways, folks, on that note, if you have stuck around from start to finish, I hope that this video has been a video that you've enjoyed. And until my next video, you guys take care. And of course, as always, everyone, bye for now.